What's up everybody, this is Danny, and today let's talk about my experience with the brand new Samsung Galaxy Note 7. So if you want to see what comes inside the box and you want to see my first impressions, I'll throw some links down below for you so you can check it out. But today, I just want to focus on the 48-hour experience I've had with it so far, maybe answer some of the questions that you may have about it, and answer the biggest question, should you buy the Note 7? A huge shout out to T-Mobile for making this video happen and sending me the Note 7 early to check out. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, there is no Note 6. They jumped an entire number. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your eyesight. Now, the dilemma this phone is having is interesting because if you compare it to the last generation Galaxy Note 5, this thing looks like a substantial upgrade. You get a new processor, a more comfortable and rounded updated design with dual curved edges with a premium metal and tougher Gorilla Glass 5 build. You get the updated 12 megapixel camera, the new USB Type-C connection, the first infrared-based iris scanner. You get double the onboard storage at 64 gigabytes with the return of the micro SD card slot, a bigger 3,500 milliamp hour battery up from the 3,000 milliamp hours in the Note 5. You get IP68 water and dust resistance, and also an improved S Pen with slimmer tip and increased sensitivity. You also get some fresh new colors, so on paper, this looks like a major win, but when you compare this to the already available and successful Galaxy S7 Edge, then the Note 7 doesn't look like that big of a leap anymore. The design between the two are very similar. They have the same processor, same screen resolution, same camera, same water resistance. You get the picture. It all looks pretty familiar. So in fact, I think it's so familiar that I wouldn't be surprised if the average consumer couldn't tell them apart at initial glance. I'm gonna say this though, even though the designs are similar, I feel the Note 7 does feel a little bit different in the hand than their other phones. I think it feels better with the more rounded back and seamless feel. I think this is the nicest phone in terms of build quality right now, and it's just beautiful, especially in this blue coral color. If I had to nitpick the design, it's still a ridiculous fingerprint magnet, but most people will just put a skin or a case on it anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Since I've used the S7 Edge quite a bit this year, my experience with the Note 7 is really familiar. I do like the slightly larger 5.7-inch Super AMOLED display on the Note 7, and this screen does have an industry first with HDR video support or high dynamic range. This is what you're seeing on higher end TVs right now, so this is really cool that they included this, but for right now, you're limited in support with Amazon Prime Video at this time, but I'm sure that will change in the future. If you consume a lot of media, then I think you're gonna love this, but the speaker quality is about the same as the S7 and S7 Edge. Because of the waterproofing, you don't get the best speaker out on the market, and the DAC or the audio output is roughly the same too, so that could be a disappointment for some people. Regardless, the screen is bright, it's sharp with excellent contrast, punchy colors, and I think this is the best screen on a mobile device right now, hands down. This screen is pretty hard to beat. Now, the Note 7 has the same familiar Snapdragon 820 powering the phone coupled with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and even though I would like to see a more updated processor, I'm having no issues with the performance whatsoever. I did notice that the animations are a little longer and it makes it look like it may be a little slower, but it's not. I feel like the gaming is just as good with nice frame rates. It should play any game out there, and Android Marshmallow is nice and fluid so far. I do like the flatter look of the updated user interface, but I still wish they would get rid of these cartoony looking icons. But once again, this is nothing that you can't fix with a third-party launcher like Nova or Action Launcher. If you've used a Samsung phone the last couple years, then it's gonna be very familiar to you, but you're gonna notice some subtle differences while you're using it. So what actually makes this phone stand out? Well, for one, it's got an iris scanner. Yep, you didn't hear me wrong. We are now in the age where we're scanning eyes for security measures, but the good thing is that it works well. This one is infrared, so it works in dark lighting conditions, so no worries there. My major gripe with this is the positioning that you have to have it in order to make this work. You have to line it up and get the distance right, and by the time you do all of that, you could have just used a fingerprint scanner. In fact, I don't think there's a time where the iris scanner is faster than using the fingerprint scanner, and even though this is super cool, the practicality is questionable. I just found myself using the fingerprint scanner again after 24 hours. But what's good is you can choose to use either one, so you have a choice on how to unlock your phone. It's all preference though. You may love it. The good thing is it works well. Now, there are some secured folders that you can hide with the iris scanner, but this could easily be done with the fingerprint scanner too. Let me know what you guys think of this. In my opinion, I also think the S Pen makes it stand out from the other phones because you don't get a whole lot of phones with pens out there that do it this well. It fits nicely and flush on the bottom, and you can't stick in the pen backwards anymore, so pen gate has been fixed. In terms of ergonomics, I think it feels much better when using it because of its smaller tip, and I do like some of its new features, especially the GIF maker or GIF maker, don't get crazy. And I've used this a lot since I've had this phone, and it's so easy to do. You can do this from any video source and share it to social media or do whatever you want with it. Now, I can see this hover to translate feature being a huge feature for travelers, and I still love how you can just take out your pen and just jot down anything that you want without unlocking the phone. To be honest though, I've never been a huge pen user. I do think it's an awesome tool to have even if you don't use it a lot. So if you're a business professional, you can sign contracts on the fly, and if you're an artist, you can just doodle whenever you want to. I didn't have any extra urges to pull this pen out with all these extra features, but your experience may vary. If you're an S Pen user though, I think you're really gonna be happy with it. When this was launched, I think a lot of people were concerned about the battery life because the S7 Edge had a slightly bigger battery, but I really wouldn't worry about it. This actually is a bump up from the Note 5 by 500 milliamp hours, but I'm not seeing a huge difference between this, the S7 Edge, or even the Note 5 really. You should be able to make it through a full day, and throughout the weekend I was getting about 5 to 6 hours of screen on time, so I feel like this is on par with every other major flagship that's out there, and I see no impact from the larger display and the extra features. What is super innovative here is the new battery saving features that are on board. You can scale down your display all the way down to 720p to save battery, and you can choose a simple home screen to save the maximum battery, or you can just scale down the resolution alone with no interface changes, and that little bit extra will probably help you get through the long days you may have. This is absolutely brilliant. I think Samsung's got something going here. I don't know, I am a pixel junkie though. I love my Quad HD resolution, but I'm glad it's there. What's great is even though that you get the newer updated USB-C connection, you still get the fast adaptive charging, and if you need to top off during the day, you can use the built-in fast wireless charging. It's a win all around. The 12 megapixel camera is the same one from the S7 and S7 Edge, and it's still one of the top performers. I don't see any increases in image quality here, but the photos are still absolutely beautiful with great color, nice depth of field, adequate details, and above average low light performance. The 4K video is also nice and crisp, and the optical image stabilization is nice to have for photos and video. So I think it's safe to say that the Note 7 is the best Samsung phone ever made. But that's always so cliche and so obvious because of course it's gonna be the best Samsung phone ever made because it's the newest one. So let's just break it down simply. If you have a Galaxy S5 or 6 or a Note 4, I would say this is a worthy upgrade. If you have a Note 5, Galaxy S7, or S7 Edge, then I would think about it more closely, especially if you have a Galaxy S7 Edge. So you're gonna have to think about the benefits of the new features of the Note 7 versus the phone that you already have and see if they're worth it. So let me know what you guys think about the Note 7. Did you buy one? And if you did, let me know. I'm really curious to hear why that you purchased one. And if it means anything, after my 40-hour experience, I bought one personally. So you can say that I had a good experience with the Note 7. All right, make sure you subscribe if you want to see more stuff on the Note 7, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you smack that like button if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.